All right, episode 65. Just me and Chad today.
Two bros.
Rick and Morty. That just reminded me of Rick and Morty. Okay, anyways. Just two of us today. I do three different things today. We got a couple articles we both wanted to talk about. And then I found a bunch this week that just made me just go, excuse me, what the hell are we doing?
So are we doing hot takes on those then? Or are you just going to...
Yeah, so welcome to the Three Bros Podcast where Cyril yells and says stupid shit. Here we go.
Sure.
All right. So I saw this article. Conservative Christian group launches campaign against Buddhist meditation in public schools. Okay. And so obviously I read that headline and I'm just like, oh, here we go. Okay, let's see what's
you got a link or did you want to...
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Screen share or...
doesn't really require you guys reading.
That's fair.
Just stuff that I got hot and bothered on.
Christian.
The one specific thing that really bothered me in this article is, oh my God, why they say they're trying to get rid of Buddhist meditation in American public schools. And basically they just think that it's like, I would say that they're just afraid of any other ideas infiltrating anything, and they're snowflakes, and they don't like, you see where I'm going with this? Like the first thing that I would say is that they just don't like, they're like, oh, Christian nation, nothing else should be here, you know? But I specifically object to something that they said in the article. On Sekulo's radio, Jay Sekulo is a conservative lawyer, and he did a radio show about this and was talking about it. On Sekulo's radio show, Jay Sekulo Live, one commentator called the program's aggressive Buddhist teaching. Abby Sutherland, the ACLJ's senior counsel, said the programs tell students to look inside yourself, find goodness within yourself. Okay, listen to what I just said. The program tells students to look inside yourself and find goodness within yourself. And she follows that up with things that are clearly antithetical to the Christian religion. Oh my goodness.
To be fair, it is, though. I mean, I guess it depends on what flavor of the Christian religion you're talking about, but...
I don't even disagree with that, but my thing is... I hear yelling in the background. Oh, my goodness. My thing is, it's just... Who are these people that actually say these things? And, like, do you not say these things and feel dirty about it and just be like, oh, my gosh, like, it's telling them to be a good person. Like, why am I upset about it? I just don't get it. I don't get it. I don't have any problem with any child, and I think most Americans feel this way. Child brings Bible to school. Child prays when child wants. Nobody cares. Do what you want, child. Be happy. If following your faith, whatever it is, makes you happy, no problem with it. Why can't other people do the same thing, you know? So, I don't... If some kid's meditating in the classroom, go for it. Now,
so there might be toxic ideology. This goes beyond just bad education. This could be corrupting our children's eternal souls. I have two small children, and I don't want them sitting around just thinking about creation and goodness and peace. Oh my God. I mean, if my two angels who are innocent are going to be learning about explorers, they should be learning about Jesus or Trump. I just can't with this article. Oh, yeah, dude. All right. I was just upset. Apologies for that. I've had some intrusions here on my end.
Technical difficulties, no problem.
Slightly,
so, dude,
yeah. No,
you actually picked a quote that was even worse. I don't even remember reading that when I read this. Oh, wow.
Yeah, isn't that
Let me
horrible?
read that again. One more time and we'll move on to the next excuse me what from Cyril. I have two small children, and I don't want them sitting around just thinking about creation and goodness and peace. You don't? I mean, if my two angels who are innocent, I assume two of his kids, this guy's calling about his kids, are going to be learning about explorers, they should be learning about Jesus or Trump. Oh my!
That's parody level types of phrasing. Like, there's no. I almost believe that this isn't a real article based.
I don't
on
think
that
is this person
quote.
trolling. Was this a trolling caller? I don't know.
I don't believe so. Well, real quick,
so.
The only issue that you could have here is if they were basing it in Buddhist teaching, but this is obviously this is secular. These are just secular practices.
Yeah. And also, if a teacher,
there's no religion attached here.
I don't even have a problem with a teacher saying, I'm going to have my kids meditate, because it doesn't have to be a religion attached to it. Correct, like you just said. But two, I don't have a problem with a teacher saying that if the teacher 100% lets anybody opt out if they want. Everybody should be allowed to opt out. If someone says, I don't want to meditate, I don't feel like meditating, then that's not a problem. We're going to meditate for a few minutes, pray, do whatever you want to do, gather yourself. Like, that's fine. I don't have a problem with that. So the slippery slope here is if they're forcing kids to meditate, that's stupid too. Where is all this authoritarianism coming from? It just makes me sick.
Very interesting.
Right. Yeah, let's move on to the second one.
Excuse me. It's a great name for this segment, but yeah, go ahead.
All right, this Excuse Me What is brought to you by Sinclair. Jesus Christ, we all hate Sinclair.
Yeah, I did see you posted this one.
We're not fans of Sinclair. Okay. So, popular young reporter for News Channel 9 terminated by Sinclair as she battles cancer. Now, Excuse Me What segment here. Obviously, we do not have the full context, and if anybody ever heard this and got offended and wanted to tell their real story, they're more than welcome to. But because I just feel like there might be more context here. But at face value from the article, basically, very popular reporter at her news station, gets cancer, goes back to where she came from, it seems like, to Philadelphia, her home. Oh, yeah, go home to Philadelphia. She's from there. She was a reporter in Tennessee to get treatment. And she goes back in May. And she had been out of work since May. And then on November 19th, Sinclair informed her about her termination. So when I read stuff like this, as a former military person, as a veteran, if you're in the National Guard and you are working a normal job, as most of them do, when you deploy for X amount of time to do that, there is a law. You cannot lose your job, right? You will have that job upon return. And that law, I would assume almost everybody agrees with. If you are willing to sacrifice your time and effort for this country, you will keep your job when you come back. We're not just going to fire you, right? And also, National Guard isn't full-time. It's despicable if a company wants to do that, right? I feel the same way here. Like, if you get cancer, like, come on. Like, let her heal. Give her time to come back. Once again, it's tough without the context. Maybe she was already healed or whatever the heck, but it's just if I want a law where if you're literally sick, come on, you get your job when you come back. I don't know if you have thoughts.
I mean, it's very easy to hate on Sinclair, to be fair.
It is.
But yeah,
they make it easy, but
I don't know how you spin this. So how long was she gone? She left in May.
and November. Yeah.
So November is when they announced her termination.
Mm-hmm.
So what's that, like 5 months, 6 months?
Yeah, 6 months. But cancer's not a small thing, dog. So
no, obviously.
Right. And when you're a reporter, you need to be fit. You literally are on TV. You have to be fit to work. Now, I would like to think, and I don't know, I'm not trying to offend anybody who might have gone through this process, but I would like to think that if I was going through chemo and stuff, like there might be times where I might be able to muster enough energy to go to work if I'm not people facing and I'm just churning and whatever, fine. But if you're people facing and you're going on TV, that's part of your job. You can't just look sickly and so the situation affects it too.
It definitely puts a bad taste in my mouth.
All I will say is, and that's why I want to emphasize the context. All I will say is this doesn't sound good. And the reason why I even got more fired up about this is because it's Sinclair. And you're right, Chad, it's easy to hate on Sinclair, but they bring that on themselves, okay?
No, I know.
Right.
I'm not saying the hate towards Sinclair isn't justified. Don't get me wrong.
All right, last one. This one was a positive article that I at first I was like, all right. And then I realized, what the fuck? All right.
Excuse me, what?
Excuse me, what? Right. So, Education Department will cancel $150 million in student debt. Okay.
Oh,
okay.
I saw that.
But why? Because the students took them to court. Because the students entered an agreement sometime in maybe the W. Obama era, who knows, where if they gave back and went to work in public service, that their loans would be forgiven after an X amount of time. Like, there's a lot of people that I've seen, a lot of right-wing people that like to spin this of, pay your bills. What's going on? Just do what you're supposed to. This is where we miss context, okay? I've been following this story for like a couple years, ever since DeVos got into office now. And basically, these students went into an agreement with the federal government where they would pay 10 years of payments on that student loan. And if they did 10 years in a disadvantaged area, giving back to a community, whether it's
being a police officer or a teacher or some public service, which doesn't make a lot of money and is very thankless. Let's not kid ourselves. I've seen teachers. I almost was one.
Yeah.
They entered in that agreement where if they paid on time, they served 10 years, they would get their loans forgiven. I think even the most hating right-leaners might agree with that context. So it's just, now Betsy DeVos gets into office. She goes, wait a minute. I'm a CEO. Let's run the government like a business because that's what makes sense, right? Oh, no, we're going to let money walk out the door. No, make them pay. Make them pay. That's all I can explain this. I don't know why they wanted to renege on this agreement. Why? What? It just almost feels like a brazen, like, fuck you to the working class. It really, truly does. And I want to understand why they're doing these things because it doesn't make sense. The only reason you would do this is because you're concerned about the dollars of it, and what your answer is to turn around and say, hey, working class people who have given back to communities, fuck you, pay your bills. Like, what? Oh
yeah, teachers especially. What was it, other types of public positions, like
I just
low-level politicians or something like that?
I don't know. That's a good question. It's a good question. Because I wouldn't even be opposed to stuff like that. Like, if the government's going to invest in you, but then you're going to give that knowledge and experience back to the government, like, that sounds like a good deal to me. I don't understand.
There's a few that we could do that with, but teachers primarily, because they spend a lot of money and they don't make enough.
And I always love to lob my Trump hate in here. In the tax bill passed last year, you know what they got rid of? They got rid of a tax deduction for teachers buying supplies for their students.
I remember that. Yeah.
Oh, that
was a big.
That's where we're gonna end that. Yeah, that's where we're gonna end this segment. This doesn't make sense. Once again,
doesn't make sense.
Don't you? It doesn't it? Because you and Caleb are very similar in my mindset and how we think. Doesn't it? Like, I just want to know why. I want to know why. I will give you the benefit of the doubt, even if it looks like you're just screwing over working people. Okay, just what are you doing here?
Yeah,
you need to explain yourself.
It seems comically villainous is what it seems.
Right.
It's like, what are you doing? How much money are you even saving by canceling this tax deduction? It cannot be that much. There's no way.
I don't know, man. It just, and then, let's lob another hate in. And they still haven't fixed it yet after a year of saying they would. Middle class tax cuts expire in now 9 years. So there you go. The corporate ones are permanent. No problem. That's a true thing. Ugh.
Well, permanent until the next administration.
After they realize that this is a freaking PR nightmare for blue collar people and actual people, you know, they're like, no, we'll fix it. We'll fix it. But guess what? Even if they do fix it, what does that mean? Debt goes up. Debt goes up.
Right.
More taxes are cut for no fucking reason. Debt goes up. So
how long? And this is kind of just a hypothetical, but how long do you think? I mean, because the Republican base, their voting base, is composed of a lot of working class people, poor and middle working class people,
especially now.
And obviously, I think that a lot of these people are voting based on like religious convictions or personal beliefs, more so than at least the older crowd. I know for a fact that our mother, first and foremost, like one of her biggest things is abortion, right?
Yeah.
How long does
you
that
asked her if
last?
she liked Trump, she'd say no as a person. She'd
right.
say, go ahead.
But it's like, how long can you abuse your base like that before people start getting a really bad taste in their mouth?
This is why I said before we started recording that Trump has immense and tremendous political strength. His numbers
incredible.
Don't move. Now, are they good numbers? They're not, but they stay there. So that also kind of proves to me that the economy reigns. So even if it's not an economy that's helping disadvantaged Trump voters, they're still getting news in their echo chamber that tells them the economy is great. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So stock market's taking a little dip, but
wait for the recession to come because it is coming.
It always comes, right? That's the thing about a capitalistic economy, the society we've built. There's going to be a recession. I've seen videos of Trump of people ask, like, by the way, regular folk interviews fascinate me. Those are the best. And I've seen a lot of interviews of just like Trump supporters at rallies and stuff. And they'll say, you know, what's going to happen at the next recession? How do you feel? And their response is, what recession? Trump's in power. It's crazy, dude.
Yeah, I don't care how. I mean, that's just how capitalism works.
Correct. Boom and bust, baby.
You can only expand for so long before you have to retract. That's just natural cycle.
Right.
You know, it just depends on how bad it's going to be. and what kind of social nets are there to save people. But
by the way, I heard someone say this the other day. Now that Democrats are in power, Trump's platform in 2016 and a lot of Trump's platform in general, even to this day, are very populist. Okay, there are definitely cracks in doors. Infrastructure spending, okay? Getting out of the war in Afghanistan, amongst other things that are progressive that Trump ran on.
Yeah, you still got to get through the Senate.
These bills and who gives a fuck?
They should. You're right.
Who gives a fuck it doesn't pass in the Senate? Because once you pass that in the House and you go out and you go on all the TV shows and you just jam it down Trump's throat, Trump always has to respond to things. It's his fucking knee-jerk reaction to just have to have an opinion or whatever. And he's going to be asked questions about it too. Therein is his response is going to be, dude, if the Democrats do that, it's a smart play, man. Smart play. Get us out of Afghanistan, write a bill, getting us out of Afghanistan, pass it, and jam it down Trump's throat and see what happens. Is it going to pass the Senate? No, but I don't know, man.
No, but that's Trump's responsibility now. Yeah, they have a real opportunity here to push the populist stuff he was talking about in the run up to the campaign, and then to show, if he has strong convictions for that.
Right. This isn't George W., man. And I was talking to one of my friends that was very right-leaning, who I was like, hey, I heard this strategy the Dems could do. What do you think? He's like, on infrastructure, that would be really smart, man. Especially on infrastructure. Everybody agrees it's garbage.
Everybody uses infrastructure.
The thing that confuses some of the people is you have to actually pay for it, but because it doesn't just grow on trees, but whatever. So,
yeah.
I always like, really quickly before we go into this next article, I always like pushing back on, and it's me kind of trolling, but it's a legitimate question. I like pushing back on right-leaning people who I have discussions with who have decent ideas on how we can affect change via education or via like informative things through the government. And I always ask them, oh, how do you pay for that? And they're always like, it's like taxes, duh. So anyways, all right. My article for the week. Basically, let me read the headline. These college guys are trying to ban porn on campus. Okay. Man, this headline definitely.
Yeah, what is going on here?
Yeah. So the first thing I want to bring up, and it's something that you wrote right after I posted the link. How in the world can you control this in 2018? How in the world? And if you think that, if your idea is, and we can, I'll delve in the article a little bit. We'll go through it as we go along. But basically the general gist is, hey, there's some people trying to ban porn on campus, trying to get filters on campuses so people can't really watch porn. Going back to my point, if you think that getting everything that we do in a society, every decision we make is because we think that there's going to be a positive effect, right? I would say.
Ideally.
You're right. Ideally, you're trying to change things for the better. What the fuck is this going to change for the better? Because you put the filter on this, people all of a sudden, by the way, not all of a sudden, we're all fellow kids. We're all young people. We know how to use VPNs. Like, this is ridiculous. All of the sudden, well, not all of a sudden, people will still be able to access it. People will still watch porn. Because people have hard drives. Like, people have, it's ridiculous. Porn will still be available, even if you do this. So then my question to these people would be, if your goal is to get rid of porn and we see a positive effect because less people are watching porn, if this doesn't even do that, what's the point? What's the point?
Yeah.
We can have a debate over how porn affects people even, which I'm still not there with them on this. But you're not going to be able to control this. Go ahead.
Well, so they try and break down what the argument is against porn in here.
They do.
One was pornography addiction was one thing they brought up, which again, what is a ban on your Wi-Fi going to do? What's a ban on your bandwidth going to do? Nothing. Correct. People have phones. People have a million other avenues of pornography they can pursue.
Right.
Sure. Okay. So there's that. And then the second one was negative treatment of women. Porn consumption leads to negative treatment of women. That one I was really disconnected with.
It's like the video game argument for violence. Right?
Yeah. It's so bizarre. It's such a strange argument. And
did you know that, And very rarely and sometimes people are forced into things, and the people who force people into things should be arrested and jailed. But did you know that most porn actresses get paid? Did you know that they're not forced into doing it? Oh, you didn't? Oh, that context matters. Okay. So it's just frustrating, man.
Yeah, it is interesting, especially since porn has become extremely prevalent, I would say, in the last 10 years, right? The accessibility is crazy.
Let me pose this. Go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say there's definitely going to be some sort of cultural shift as a result of that. But we have literally not seen a rise in violence, sexual violence against women as a result. We're in a decline.
We're in a time period where we're more aware of abuses against women. The Me Too movement, Christine Blasey Ford. Like, we're in a period where, it's just
very confused by
doesn't make sense. Once again, I always love saying, this is why I want to start an interview show. I just want to ask people why. That's all I want. I don't even want to debate them. I just want to ask why. So once again, the girl in Georgetown and the 80 guys at Notre Dame that penned this letter, I just want to ask them, what specifically do you think this is going to help? Like, and also the second thing I want to ask them is, what specifically are you seeing that's so bad stemming from porn that this needs to be addressed? Because I think that these people they have their ideology, they have their opinion, and that's where it's coming from. They're not actually coming from anything evidence-based or facts-based. You feel like porn is gross. Okay.
Also, one of the most ironic things about this article is men aren't the biggest users of porn. It's actually very hardline split in terms of porn consumption between men and women.
Did you know that men and women both have sex?
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. So, like, what do you mean? Like, if you want to ban some particular horrible types of porn, fair enough, I guess. But like, I don't know.
I read a paragraph from it, and it's just it's a paragraph that maybe not a lot of people would take away. Like, wow, that's sad, but I did, and I'll tell you why. Okay, the students admitted that advocating for a ban on porn, or for more chaste sexual ethics in general, doesn't make them popular on campus. What a surprise. Whalen said he largely confined his conversation on the subjects to his close friends, while Irvine, the girl from Georgetown, said she'd once ended things with a suitor because she learned he was watching porn. What if that man was the perfect man and they would have had a happily blissful life? But no, just because of choices that this man makes in his own personal life, you wrote him off? It's just sad, yo. It's just sad. And we're dividing ourselves every single where in society, and it makes no sense to me. Makes no sense to me. What you broke up with him because he's watching porn? Why? Because now you think he's a bad person? While you're within your rights to do that and break up with him, I just see a missed opportunity for building bridges and having conversations. Do you know what I'm saying? It just doesn't. Come on, let's work together, people. Jeez. Not saying that she doesn't have a right to dump him. I'm just saying that the reasoning for the dumping just feels like she's missing out on life. She's missing out on experiencing and learning and hearing other people's opinions and really gaining that wisdom of why people do the things they do. Too many times we assume human beings do things because they're bad people. Incorrect. Okay, talk to them. Get that context. So it's just frustrating.
Yeah, and I think primarily this thing we have to recognize here is this is a huge push that originated at Notre Dame, which is a particularly Catholic school.
Very religious institution.
I don't think there is a good secular argument that can be made to ban pornography. I think that this is, inherently a religious push.
The most secular argument here is the one you talked about, the whole like feminism one, and that just is so stupid, yo. I can't. And I'm not trying to be offensive. Anyone is more than willing to debate me on anything, including this. If you feel a certain type of way, that's fine.
It's interesting because there are two camps typically in like feminist groups. One camp is that porn is empowering, and one that porn is demeaning. So I don't think that's something that even like the feminist community has figured out for themselves. I don't think there's a very clear line there.
It's interesting because I read another article that was like split off of this one that was talking about the factions that are like allied in this, and it's like conservative Christians
Republicans
and
radical feminists.
Yeah, people you wouldn't necessarily think would hold hands on things. But then I continued reading that article, and it did talk about even inside feminism, even inside conservatism, even inside Christianity. There's more splits. There is a big. I'd be interested in what the split would be. I don't think anybody knows, but there is a split inside of feminism where there's some feminists that are like, hey, if a girl gets paid and that's what she wants to do with her body, that's fine.
Right.
That's fine. Because that's the right answer.
Yeah, this is very bizarre. I almost thought when you posted this link and I read the title that this was going to be an article from 1998 or something.
Good point, man.
That's crazy, man. This is. I feel like we're past this, right? Maybe not.
And I'd like to emphasize too, as I always do on the pod a lot of times, these are fringe people. This isn't what everyone feels. I'm sure this isn't what everyone feels.
I think the biggest thing these days is because porn is so accessible. You just need to be the biggest group that we should be concerned about is children, is younger kids. That should be the biggest concern in terms of pornography and internet access, not adults. Like, I just don't understand.
Yeah, but you know what? I think the best way to stem that concern with children is education.
Yeah,
that's what a lot of conservative states, even all states, are really hesitant and have always been feet dragging on sexual education. They don't want to do it, and I don't know why.
Yeah, you definitely don't want the internet teaching people about what
we can debate how early sex ed should be there, or even if it should be there. What we can't debate is we live in an age where if we don't educate, it's not going to be good. Okay.
You know what's great too, though, is even the concerns they express in this article in terms of adults. Education is also the answer for that. Pornography addiction, education. Help these people out. In terms of how we treat women, education. Like, anyone that watches porn and goes, this is what I should expect in real life, is out of their fucking mind.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
One thing that everybody on this podcast agrees on, all three of us, even though there's a left, right, and center, I think we can all agree on that whenever we see any sort of authoritarianism from the right or left, it's gross.
Yeah,
Stop
absolutely.
it. Stop it. Come on. What are you doing? If you want to change for the better, you need to have a conversation and educate. Build bridges. Talk about it. Oh my gosh.
No, Cyril, if there's so much of a problem at all affecting even the smallest part of the group, we got to remove that access from everybody.
One person ruins it for everybody.
That's right. And there's going to be a day in the future where nobody can do anything because...
Come here for political talk, walk away with Chad trolling. I like it.
No, but that's genuinely the thing.
I know, I'm just kidding.
We're so reactionary these days that we have to
I know.
It's stupid.
I just...
There's probably a better middle ground on this, but like it's definitely not to ban porn as a whole.
I think we have a tough time marrying the fact that people like me, you, and Caleb, even Dad, we respect other people's choices. And I think that people don't hear voices from people like us as much because we respect people's voices, we let them be. We don't yell, scream, and shout. It's the people that don't respect other choices and want to yell, scream, and shout. That's who you hear. And that's what we're fighting because now they have the internet and the internet can blast everything. Meanwhile, those of us who are kind of silent and who respect people, we're not really blasting too much. We're just chilling, existing.
Yeah.
And so I think that's
as long
one
as people
variable.
Are informed. If people are informed, then you have to respect their decisions.
By the way, I think the majority are people chilling. People chilling, respecting other people. Yeah.
It absolutely is.
But we live in these times where sensationalism sells and gets clicks. And so sensationalism is not respecting other people and getting along. It's not. And it's just gross. So it's just frustrating. So I read the article and it was talking about how it was starting to spread. So I got curious and I go to university right now. I go to UB here in Buffalo. So I Googled porn and UB to see if there was any articles. There was nothing sweeping UB right now. UB is very secular school, by the way, too. So that context matters. So nothing's spreading UB right now, but there was an article written in February of 2018. I'll link it to in the comment section of the video. And it was just basically, and because it came from a secular university, it has a lot of facts and evidence in it. No offense, Christian universities, get your shit together. But anyways, it just talks about how like porn is fine if you do it in moderation and it's a release valve and it can actually be good for society. It's actually done. I think porn has allowed potential crazies and not crazies because dude, people get emotional, people get worked up, people have have needs. It's allowed people to have a little release valve, right?
Well, this is what
that's their argument.
The one other point that I wanted, especially when you sent this, that I was thinking of, especially when they were like, oh, porn leads to violence against women. I think there's a very strong argument that you could make that porn reduces sexual violence as a whole.
Agreed. Agreed.
And we all know when we look at the Catholic Church that repressing sexual feelings does not end well. So don't fucking come at me with this, because this is bullshit. Notre Dame looking at you, your fucking institutions, but besides that.
Dude, this is the first time that I'm writing down what someone said to make sure it's a clip to make, because that was a money argument, dude. That was. I mean, when you suppress natural human tendencies, it's not going to be great. It's not going to be great.
Right. And obviously, if you overindulge, it's also a problem. But again, education. Just.
Right. So if we can educate early enough and get all kids educated, they can then, because we can't control what they see on the internet. There's VPNs. There's all these things. We've already had this discussion. Then when they go see those things, they have that healthy, like, this is just porn. This is just a release valve. Actual relationships are not like this. You know, people don't just knock on doors with their dick hanging in a pizza box. You know what I'm saying? So they can have that context and not be, because there's no question that everybody can abuse anything. Like, you can be addicted to coffee, or caffeine. You can be addicted to sugar. You can be, addiction is a real thing, but it has less to do with the porn creating issues. It has more to do with, there are some people in society that have a hard time controlling themselves with some things. Yeah. And we should be helping those people control them. We shouldn't be actively trying to, like, point at them and say, you suck, you're a fucking terrible person, fuck you. Like, stop that. Who are you? Stop it. Come on.
I'm going to make some baller money going down to the Notre Dame campus and just selling flash drives chock full of porn.
Dude, let's find a day where we both have, because we both are in winter break. We can just drive down because she said she was going to be pushing for it during her winter break. Let's go down and set up a table that says porn is great. Change my mind. Porn is great. Change my mind. Dude, I don't like, really quick, really side tangent. I don't like Steven Crowder. I don't like him. I think he's he's very divisive, and he's loud, and he's not a nice person. I'm just, he's an asshole. But the fact that he does, I like those segments, because the fact that, like, he's there talking, openly debating it, even if you won't change his mind, the act of engaging that conversation, I can respect that a lot, man.
Absolutely. Have you ever seen one of those videos, though?
Oh, I watched a lot of them,
Oh, so have you?
It gets combative. It does.
It gets combative, and I think he's a little disingenuous. I also think he chooses to engage with people who don't necessarily have the best arguments. But again, I absolutely respect him going out there and having conversations, because that's a hostile environment for Steven Crowder. Absolutely. 100%. And he's got the balls. He throws them on the table. I don't agree with him 90% of the time. I don't. Yeah, right. I think he's an asshole. That's why I had to open with that. But there's a level of respect you can have. Absolutely. Also, if you do watch the videos, he's disrespectful. Also, remember, it's his channel. He can post anything he wants. So if he gets into a bad debate, he's not going to post that. He's going to post things that make him look good. So, all those things. So, all right. Let's move on to Chad's article. His most recent one is hate speech isn't real. Changed my mind. Interesting. That's okay. I didn't see that one. Are you kidding me? I just looked. Isn't real. Okay. Yeah, that's that's interesting. But again, the concept I absolutely respect. So fair enough. Go ahead, Chad. Yeah, New Zealand. There was a British tourist. I believe she was British. She was from the UK at least, but she went to New Zealand on vacation, and she went missing, unfortunately. I don't know if she turned up at all, but I don't think it talks about that. I'm not sure. I didn't read talk about that too much about her case in particular, because there was a bigger point I want to talk about here. And this article is about that point, so go ahead. It is, yeah. So let's see. New Zealand's justice minister has said Google could face prosecution for sending a mass email which included the name of the man accused of murdering British backpacker Grace Millane. So he's accused of murdering her. And apparently when there is an accused, there's a certain amount of time where they will suppress the name of the suspect and certain amounts of information until they go to trial. I'm trying to remember. They said I like that. There was an order that came out. Oh, I should have highlighted this beforehand. Oh, here we go. That's okay. In the Grace Millane case, the accused was not given a suppression order by the Auckland District Court, but his defense said they would appeal to a higher court, which automatically triggers a 20-day working day suppression. which is interesting. 20 days. What does that do? Because eventually you're going to go to trial here, right?
Right. And the first of all, the general idea I'm on board with. Innocent.
Are you? Why?
Innocent until proven guilty? Of course, that helps that.
If you're going to trial, there's enough evidence for there to be.
Oh, he was going to trial already? Okay. That is different. Okay. Yeah, because then they would have had enough evidence to indict him.
Exactly.
Right.
So he's accused then. So I get it. I totally get, like, especially in this day and age of people on their fucking social media just beating their drums and wanting to form a mob. I get that. I totally get, let's protect these people. But I don't know, man. Because I've seen this, again, you know, New Zealand isn't unique in this. And Germany goes a bit farther where they won't release. There's a lot of information that they will not release. Even after somebody gets taken to trial and is
Why
sent.
Do you think it's a better idea to just release it?
I'm not saying it's better,
by the way.
I thought it was strange. I've just never seen this. We don't do this in the U.S. Not at least that I'm aware of.
What if it's still helpful? And tell me what you think. What if it's still helpful because, like, what if people might hurt him or murder him or something else might happen? Like, what if you just suppress to just ensure the safety of everyone involved, you know, that kind of a thing.
Yeah, I get that. I definitely get that, especially with the mob mentality bullshit. That's
right. Not that a mob rising up and killing this guy, if he is guilty, is the wrong thing, but but we don't know if he's guilty yet. So there you go.
The purpose is to protect people not yet proven guilty, but also to have a fair trial by ensuring the jury is not prejudiced by media coverage. Right. So that's fair enough.
Yeah, that's definitely fair enough. We don't do a good job of that here.
We don't.
I think it's especially bad in the Trump era because the way that Trump builds his network, it's inherently just leaky. Like Trump demands loyalty from people and they show face with it, but in the background, there's been so many leaks in this administration. Dear God, dude. It's like 100-fold more than any other administration in recent memory. Seriously, it's crazy, man. So I just think Obama actually cared about people. W actually cared about people. Clinton actually cared. Well, Obama actually cared about people. W actually cared about people. And yeah, Clinton actually cared about people too, at least on a level higher than Trump. Trump only cares about Trump. I said that a lot. And so in that way, they build relationships where people are loyal because they feel the two-way street. There's no two-way street with Trump. So he just leaks and then...
Yeah.
And that's
we don't have strong libel laws in this country. So even if you do get blasted by some trial via just public speculation, you can't really take action against that.
That's interesting. We should deep dive into the libel laws at some point.
You should, because it's very strong, especially in the UK. I know libelism is a huge issue. You can get in a lot of trouble just even implying that somebody did something or other, that it's not necessarily true. But in the US, we don't give a shit. You can say whatever you want about anybody.
That's a great tool for Trump, by the way.
It absolutely is.
Trump.
Now you can just gaslight everybody. Yeah,
Anderson Cooper's been doing this segment on his show since Trump took office, and it's called "We'll Leave the Gaslight On for You."
Nice.
But he did it as an original segment really early on. And now it's on he does parts. So he's on like part 117. We'll leave the gaslight on.
Oh my God.
It's awful.
I've not heard about this.
Yeah. Well, my media consumption is very fellow kitty. I just YouTube all day. So I just watch little clips and stuff. So,
yeah, I'm not sure. There's not too much more with this article.
No. And this one kind of sparks more of a, hey, let's look into our libel laws. Maybe that would make for a good discussion.
Yeah, I think it definitely would.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, that's all I got for this. But anyway, so Google might be held accountable for this, which is fair enough. If that's the law in New Zealand, then don't fuck around, Google.
So yeah, let me ask you that. Do you think that they should be responsible for it? I think they should be. Like Google's response here is, "Oh, we don't." Where was it?
They said they didn't know. They didn't know there was a suppression court or a suppression order out.
If you're a business operating in a country with laws, it's your responsibility to be on top of that. It sure is. Okay. So there's definitely a responsibility of the government to make sure everybody knows laws as well. You need to make sure people are aware. You can't just write laws and not tell anybody, but I'm sure that's not what New Zealand does. And Google is just,
When we receive valid court orders, including suppression orders, we review and respond appropriately. In this case, we didn't receive an order to take action. That's a statement from New Zealand Google. But you should still be if that's the law of the land.
You should still be aware of the law and about to publish that. You should have thought, hey, there's this law in New Zealand, and this, like, are we allowed to? You know what I'm saying? Like, you should even before this case, your awareness should be there as a media organization pushing things. Of media laws, okay?
So, yeah, especially because this is a huge deal, and it's been watched closely in the UK. So
okay, and Google's a huge company that I promise you has compliance lawyers. So it's on them, man. Like every huge company has compliance lawyers for this reason. What happened?
So, yeah, you fucked up.
You definitely screwed up. But yeah, at the end here, let's really quickly just talk about what did happen this week with Michael Cohen.
Oh sure.
And
man got prison time.
Yeah, let me just find an article. Do you have any off the top of your head that we could pull up? And
so I'm excited to see what Cohen says, because Cohen's been Trump's personal lawyer for much longer than just.
Did you watch his right? Did you watch his ABC interview?
After he got sentenced?
Correct.
I did not, but he did.
Already
he
been
did
singing a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm excited to see come out. Trump's dirty laundry. Do you know how much Cohen probably knows about Trump's dirty laundry?
So, the big bombshell this week is not that Cohen was going to implicate Trump or all these things. He already said he was in court a while back when he was brought into court for like trial date setting or something. He said, hey, like pretty much the president and me did this together. Like the president was in on this. Okay. So we already knew that. The big thing that happened this week is apparently the company that bought the stories to kill them for the purpose of helping Trump win the election is now singing as well. And so that's called corroboration. And David Pecker, Michael Cohen, you're right, has been there since way before the presidential years. But David Pecker goes back even farther. David Pecker and Trump have been friends. Trump has been playing the media since Trump was Trump.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, that's been a huge tool for him. So he's been friends with the tabloid magazines and who runs them for a long time. Okay. They flipped on him pretty quick, man. I'm surprised that this is what happens when Donald Trump builds his friendships. They're not real friendships. They're just
they were facing some big trouble if they didn't sing.
Staffers too.
Yep.
Dude. Don't fuck with the Justice Department, and it puts a big smile on my face, yo.
So Cohen set up these shell companies to make the payments to try and hide the fact that this money was moving. Sent the payments to these publishers so that they could pay them, so that they would buy the stories and bury them. So this is all conspiring to commit campaign fraud, essentially.
So
and they're culpable.
I watched a Fox News segment on YouTube. And let me give you. I don't remember who gave us this right wing spin, but there was some right wing Trump spin on this, and I want your reaction on what you think. Basically, this happened before. Someone called John Edwards was running for vice president with John Kerry in 2004, and something like this happened where he paid off a mistress. And I mean, it was different. It was a little different of a scenario. It happened well before the election. Blah 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 blah.
Okay.
So anyway, something like this similarly happened, and then he was acquitted. So a lot of people on the right are like, well, he was acquitted. Okay. The difference here is timing. So basically their argument on this video was this is damaging for Trump's personal life as well. Obviously, he might want to pay to cover this up because he doesn't want Melania to find out, right? Like, so the right wing spin, the Trump spin was, his argument was, how can you prove that this was for the election? Maybe it was just to have his wife not find out, whatever. Like, he did the stupid stuff. Maybe he just wanted to cover it up. Here's the thing. You fucked Stormy Daniels in 2006 and you paid her right before the election.
Yeah, there's no way that you can. Right. What did Trump say? It was a simple private transaction.
Right.
It's not. You're very clearly doing it to bury. You know what blows my mind though, and I think did I say this to you already? I'm not sure if I said this to you already. Oh, I said it in the Hangouts, right? So his base stood by him through thick and thin. They would not have blinked an eye if these allegations came out. They wouldn't have given a shit. He would have been fine. He didn't have to pay these women off.
Dude, they are tripping over themselves. This is after Trump said on at a rally on national television, if I shoot someone on Fifth Ave, and they still did this. The level of incompetence is so astounding.
It's mind-numbing.
Dude. I know. It's crazy.
It's comical. And the greatest thing is this is literally just the tip of the iceberg. We aren't even dipping into any of the Russia stuff yet. And I'm becoming more and more convinced.
Isn't that
the
crazy?
Stuff that I've read, we're not even there yet. Give Mueller time.
Dude.
Because I can almost guarantee there's going to be something there. And it's going to be the same level of incompetent bullshit, but it's going to be still just as illegal. You can't do this stuff.
Right. Anybody who knows Trump for Trump knew that he, especially if you dug into his real estate history and his business history, anybody that knows Trump knew that he was doing criminal shit for a long time, long time.
Yeah.
Just got away with it because he was powerful and rich, probably. Whatever.
Lawyers.
Yeah, could afford to just, sue people, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so I'm not surprised that there's a whole, like, this Cohen stuff going on. To me, what's fascinating is we're seeing that Trump either is so incompetent that they didn't even like try to properly do things so that they were properly covered up and not found out, or they just got lazy and thought they could just get away and they just didn't give a fuck and they were just doing things just because they didn't care.
Yeah.
Or Trump didn't think he was gonna win, so it was not gonna. If he doesn't win, dude, all of this shit doesn't happen. That's what's so funny. It's fucking insane, dude. Do you think Hillary Clinton goes into office and immediately starts attacking her very powerful, very politically powerful opponent? No, she focuses on other shit. She knows that's a losing battle. This wouldn't happen. Oh my goodness. It's just ironic. We're watching a slow motion death of the Republican Party too. I think it already happened. This is a Trump party. There's no Republican Party. There's so many signs that point to that. Paul Ryan retiring.
Yeah.
The huge wave of retirements just in general this year from Republicans in the House. That's what contributed to the Democrats doing so well. When you don't have an incumbent that used to be Republican suburban area now is like ripe for, it's crazy, man.
Yeah.
Let me say this too, with Paul Ryan retiring, this man is a man who has devoted his life to wonky policy. He's not about the identity politics, and that way I respect him. He's committed to, he's fiscally responsible. He's committed to like cutting taxes and doing blah, 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 blah. And that was his whole goal. And he is now leaving office. Okay, he took over the speakership, I want to say in 2015, 2016. Okay, I saw this on a clip this week, and I looked it up to make sure it was true, and it is true. Ever since he's taken over the speakership, the wonky policy, fiscally conservative guy, the debt has increased every single year. And if you are fiscally conservative, then you fucking understand, and you're a deficit hawk as well, you understand that if you don't have the political muscle to cut spending, you cannot fucking cut taxes. It is wildly irresponsible. If you do not cut spending with cutting taxes, it is irresponsible. And it's just a joke that these Republicans are like, what a winner the tax cut was last year. What a winner. You're adding to the deficit. You're not actually solving the whole problem. You're just giving tax breaks to the rich.
Yeah, I hope.
Go ahead.
I hope, and as it will, the pendulum will swing back. Democrats will have control of probably all three, if not by 4 years from now, but 8.
The
but
Senate grounds are very fertile for Democrats in 2020. Very fertile.
But if I hear any ounce of complaint when the Democrats are in charge that they're not being fiscally responsible, it's going to fall on deaf ears for me because you've shown us that you don't actually care. That's only
about Obama. They complain about Obama, man. It already does.
They did. And the first thing they did was increase the. Oh my God!
It's
what
crazy.
Do you mean? Where are you?
Crazy. If you wanted to just cut taxes and not do anything about the deficit, then you should have been bitching about just taxes those years. You weren't.
Right.
You were bitching about the deficit.
Yeah.
So
and I'm not saying we don't have a spending problem. We do.
And Republicans
we do have a spending problem.
Mitch McConnell did this a couple months ago. Republicans complain, and Paul Ryan's done it a bunch of times. They complain. Oh, we should have entitlement reform, but we can't get it done. We can't get it done. Oh, but you're in control of all the houses in the presidency. Oh, we still can't get it done. Maybe that tells you something. Maybe you can't get it done because people actually like this shit so goddamn much that there's literally no political muscle because the people's voice can actually be heard on something when they're 90% in agreement. Like, especially when we talk about Republican and Trump base, it skews pretty old. Agree?
Yeah.
And these people benefit a lot from the Social Security system. So go ahead and cut Social Security. I fucking dare you. I hope they do. I hope they do. Well, they can't now. But.
Well, that's suicide if they do. They may as well have done it in the last 2 years, but
It doesn't matter now. They had to get it done before Democrats took back control of any branch, and they didn't. And now the time is done. There is absolutely no fucking way the House will ever fucking like Democrats this year, more so than ever, are very progressive, different, grassroots. There's still tons of corporate Democrats, and I'm not happy with the party as a whole. Right. But we've got some people in there who are bomb throwers, who are doing, who are different, who are progressive, who are like, let's talk about policy and so Democrats aren't just they're definitely not gonna cut entitlements. A lot of the energy in the Democratic Party is to increase, not necessarily entitlements, but increase support for working people. So yeah, your ship has sailed. And so now you just have to own the deficit as it grows. You just have to. And by the way, I think the Democrats should vote. No. I was going to say, I think that the Democrats should vote with the Republicans to make those middle-class tax cuts permanent. But no, I think the Democrats should propose their own bill. Put the corporate rate back up. Put rich people's rates back up. And then give middle-class people a tax cut with that. Let's go, populism. Do it up. Everybody 100,000 and less. You're getting a cut. Everybody more. Hey, listen, you're going back to where you were. Okay, we got to pay the bills. So.
Wow, there you go.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what we're ending.
We'll see you next time on, what did you call it earlier? Your little pieces?
Oh, excuse me, what?
Excuse me, what?